The Season 8 balance changes have leaked and there's a proper shake-up in it. They're finally fixing the S36 LMG. Everybody ran that gun back in the day before they nerfed it into the ground and it's proper quick again. Everyone's favorite SMG, the Fennec, is getting buffed, the Hate is getting nerfed, and there's a whole load more on top of that. And nobody has mentioned this bit. They have gutted the movement skills. Jet boost can't even wall run anymore. So today we're going through every single buff and nerf and what it all means for the guns you actually use, and this is for both multiplayer and Battle Royale. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome everyone, my name's Ali, welcome back to the channel. Right, quick bit of housekeeping. These are the test server numbers, so none of this is final and any of it can change before the season actually drops. And a big shout out to leakers on duty for putting the patch notes out, go give them a follow. Let's start with the bad news, because there are only 2 guns getting nerfed and one of them is going to annoy a lot of you. The FSS Hurricane sprint speed down slightly. The FTAC Cold Forge barrel now comes with a 6% ADS movement speed penalty. Honestly, this one's fine. Small nerf on a gun most of you guys aren't running anyway. This one's not fine though. The Hades is getting its range cut. Every gun does full damage up to a certain distance, and past that it starts doing less. On the Hades, that used to kick in at 16 meters, now it's 12. So you're doing less damage 4 meters sooner than you used to, and anyone further out takes more bullets to drop. And be clear on this, because people are already getting it wrong. The nerf is tagged Battle Royale only, run the Hades in multiplayer and nothing changes for you. Right, the good news, and this is my favorite thing in the entire patch, the S36 LMG ADS time down from 420 milliseconds to 380. The sprint to fire down from 180 to 150. On paper that's 40 milliseconds and 30 milliseconds, and you're probably thinking, Ali, who cares? Here's why. So you've got to understand how big this gun was. If you were Master or Legendary in Ranked back in the days, there was at least one S36 on every single team. Everyone was running it, and then they nerfed it. Then they nerfed it again, and it's been in the bin ever since. They're not making a hit harder here, they're not touching the recoil, they're just making it quicker to get on target. Whether that's enough to bring it back, I genuinely don't know, but I'm glad they're finally having a go. And then there's a whole pile of guns getting buffed, so let's run through them. The Fennec keeps its best damage out to 13 meters now instead of 11.5. The arm and leg shots count for a bit more, same gun just works further out. The chopper, which is interesting given what they have done to the Hades. With the heavy handle you move 15% faster while aiming, and with special forces you get shooting a quarter faster out of a sprint. Though those aren't quite the same thing, the Hades nerf is on the gun itself, so every Hades player feels it. The chopper buffs are on the attachments, so you only get them if you're running those. Still, nerf one LMG buff the other one, same patch, funny timing. And then a handful of quicker ones. The Cronen Squall gets the biggest rework, it loses damage more gradually now and your shots land tighter. The Crick 6 gets a new damage phase up close. The FFR one holds its best damage out to 10 meters instead of 6.5, which is a proper jump, and the Larper hits harder at every range. And the Larkman 556 gets a bit more bullet impact, and the Lark 12 barrel is the bigger one, half the bullet speed penalty it used to have, plus a 20% sprint to fire buff. The exact numbers are on the screen if you want to pause it. And the Arctic Dot 50 sniper, which has a special place in my heart. Anyone playing since the early days will remember running that or the DLT 33. It gets reduced vertical recoil, which on a sniper is basically a free upgrade. And now the Scorestreaks and Perks, there's one nerf in there a lot of you guys have been asking for. The VTOL jet now loses its damage protection before it enters the hover phase, and that window where you'd empty a whole magazine into it and nothing happened, gone. Everything else is a buff. Flash drone and inflatable decoy both go from 1 to 2. EMP detonation time down to 1.2 seconds, and Dowser grenade gets a bigger radius and you get 3 instead of 2. Throwables, and both of these are proper buff. Sticky grenade radius up from 5 to 5.5 meters, the minimum damage from 55 to 80. So a throw that doesn't stick cleanly is a lot less forgiving now. Drill charge is the big one, detonation time cut from 1.4 seconds to 0.7. That's half the time to get out of the way, so drill charges are about to get genuinely annoying to play against, and I don't hate it. Right, this is the bit I mentioned at the start, and I don't think enough people have clocked it. They have gone every single movement skill, jet boost, the wall run is gone, not reduced, removed. Quick strike, max dash distance was 15, 20 and 35 meters depending on the charge. Now it's 5, 10 and 10, but the damage has gone the other way. 50, 80, 150 becomes 100, 150, 250. So quick strike isn't a movement skill anymore, it's a damage skill. Ninja, max grapple distance from 35 meters to 15. You do get more charges and a shorter cooldown to soften it up, but you're not crossing the map with it anymore. And here's what I think is going on. They're rebuilding the entire Battle Royale movement system now. I made a whole video on that, linked up there, and at the same time they're pulling movement out of the operator skills. It looks like to me they want your movement coming from the movement system and not a skill on a cooldown. I could be wrong, but both in the same season is not a coincidence. And to finish, the BR classes, mixed bag. Shockstick gets a quick throw on tap. Tactical mirrors, replicating ammo no longer eats your charges. Refitter loses the delay picking plates up. The revive gives your teammate more damage resistance after you bring them back, which is genuinely good. On the other side, defender loses its damage resistance on activation. Shockwave does less damage, and rewind no longer resets your flesh health. Big one if that's your class. So what does all of that actually add up to? If you're an LMG player, this is your patch. Hades, Chopper up, S36 possibly back from the dead. And that's the whole story right there. If you play BR with movement class, you have been hit hard, so you're going to feel it immediately. And if you're running an SMG or an AI in multiplayer, have a look at the list again. Your gun probably isn't on the list, which either means you're safe or it means the next patch is coming for you. So that's every buff and nerf in Season 8 test server. And remember, none of this is final. These numbers do change before a season goes live, so don't go rebuilding your loadout just yet. Let me know down in the comments which one of you are most annoyed about, because I guarantee somebody's main just got ruined. And if this helped you out, go give it a big fat thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe if you guys are new around here, because when the official patch notes land, I'll go through the whole patch log again properly. I will catch you guys again in my next video. Remember, peace, love and unity. My name's Ali and I am signing out.